welcome to the Alchemist Inkwell. This is
your
your line.
spiritual podcast for grounded people. That is my line. I'm KristaLyn, and that's my line.
Yeah, that is your line. You can introduce me if you want. You take that line of mine since
okay.
I halfway took yours.
This is Emily. I hope you're on that side.
I'm not, but it's cool.
This is Emily. Wherever you are, Emily is somewhere.
Yeah.
And fantastic and a wonderful person.
Sounds like a title. Oh, you're the sweetest. It sounds like a title of a book. Emily is somewhere.
Emily is somewhere. Where is Emily?
Somewhere. My goodness. We are talking to you from the deep past, meaning you are hearing this 2 weeks later than we're recording it. So if stuff's happened, we've gone through it, but we're not going to talk about it right now because we're in the past.
Yeah, we will talk about it later. Comment if you want us to talk about it.
Yeah, whatever stuff has happened since the solstice. Our previous episode was the solstice-ode, and that's where we talked about stuff happening. So we know stuff has happened. We just haven't yet had that experience. But we will, and we'll talk about it when we come back from Iceland, which is not right now.
These short messages. But first, let's talk about, cozy stuff. I think we could use that anyway.
Yeah, this is our bookend episode, which is what we do at the end of every month. If you've been here for a long time, hopefully you look forward to these. We do. We love them because we do bookends. We talk about what we read that month, and then we also do Higa, which is where we answer questions from the Higa game. And we'll be in Iceland, which is very Higa, to be totally honest. It's extremely Higa. Higa is Norwegian concept. And that is like next door neighbors. They bump elbows with Iceland. So we got the same vibes going on with that. Also, if you're liking this podcast, going to remind you right now, please download, please like it, please share it, please comment, please heart it, please, I don't know, do whatever you do on Spotify or other podcast episodes. But if you download it, it really helps our metrics and helps us get the podcast out to more people. And that means the world to us.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a kind of weird reading month for me. I'm just going to throw that out there to start us off. How about you? Has it been weird for you too?
Honestly, I think this is one of my more consistent months because I was researching comps for my own book. And then I wanted cozy stuff. Which makes it sound like my book is not cozy. It's not really that cozy, but
It's not cozy. I wouldn't call it cozy.
No. I wanted cozy stuff. So
that would be like calling my book cozy. It's not.
Your book is not cozy, but it's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to be working on some revisions for my book while I wait for agents to get back to me and before I pitch more in the Bodleian Library in Oxford. I'm very excited about that. So right around when you guys are hearing this, I will be in the Bodleian working on my book. Booyah.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
I am currently sleep deprived because I've been working on the edits of my book, which is just confirming edits. So the publishing process is really long and my book should be going out to publishers really, really soon. Shh. Which means hopefully I have news on when you can read it soon after that.
Amazing. You're going to want to trust me.
Oh, thank you. You're going to want to read Krista's too. Really good. I'm really just excited in general about I had like a whole moment last night about it. Last night in your super deep past, last night in my yesterday.
Yeah, my yesterday.
I had a whole moment of like, oh my gosh, like it's just the idea that like even publishers will read it. Like it's just even getting to that point where I'm just like, holy shit. So anyway, I'm giddy about it. I'm just giddy. It's such a wild moment. But I'm also sleep deprived because I was up till like 2:30 last night working on it.
But it is a hugely deserved moment as well. I can't emphasize how excited I am for you. Having like just known us as a group or as a duo for the last 5 years and knowing that it's been even longer than that since both of us have been working on this and then this has happened for you. It's definitely something I'm stoked about.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyway, that's the first book I read this month was my own again.
Yeah, I'm about to go through mine again because I decided like the way I need to add in some more stuff is just line by line.
It's just how it has to be sometimes. It's the way it is. It's
and
dumb.
Not that I don't like my story. I like my story. I just don't want to read it again.
It's just, the thing is when you go into, that's the meat and potatoes of the work, right? Is to do like line by line edits where you're actually adding things for content. And like to make it, like, it's heavy lifting because you're really truly going through and like, do I keep this paragraph? Do I not keep this paragraph? Do I rewrite this? I need to put this scene. How does this scene flow in? Like, it's a lot of like the math side of the brain thinking almost as opposed to the creative brain. I am personally really excited to I'm starting to prepare to draft my second book in this duology, and I'm really getting excited for that. I'm really ready to be back in that.
2-book deal.
I better get a 2-book deal. It's happening. I decided. The same way that we obviously have seen the Northern Lights by this point. When you hear this, we won't tell. We'll tell you about it next time when we
It's
do
happening.
obviously see them, because we decided we
Be a
would.
real thing.
Anyway, yeah. So that was the first book that I read this month. Was my own. Technically, it was the last book I read this month, but whatevs. Let's go through the other books I read this month, though, because it's fun.
Sorry,
It was a
found
really
question from my Patreon. So
oh great.
that's what I
Love
was doing
that.
this whole time.
I don't think I have a Higa question on my Patreon. I'll double check as you go through your bookend stuff too. But I talked about Green Teeth last month, right? Was that a last month book? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So then I have proceeded to start and not finish like 4 different books. It's been one of those months. I think I will finish most of them. So I'm going to tell you about the ones I started that I think and whether or not I think I will finish them. And then I'll also talk about books I have finished. So after that, I started A Man Called Ove from Frederick Backman, who I freaking love. Frederick Backman. He wrote Anxious People, and Anxious People is one of the best books ever. I love it so much. It's good. It was wrong for the vibe. It was wrong for the vibe. It's super funny immediately. The way he sees people and writes people is just really, really cool, and I highly recommend him as an author. Anxious People is a wonderful place to start, but I was like, oh, this is not the moment for me. Then I started The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, which is an Arthurian book. It's a modern Arthurian one, meaning he like wrote it very recently, even though it takes place in Arthurian times. I know I'm going to finish that one. I'm going to go very slowly with it though. I know it's really good, but again, it was not quite my vibe. I was not quite what I was feeling for the month. Definitely going to finish that. I'll probably finish A Man Called Ove as well, but I have to be in the right mood, and I just wasn't in the right mood. Then I read Wings of Starlight, which is this one I completed, and that was it's Queen Clarion's story from Pixie Hollow, right? And I think I talked about it briefly last time too. Maybe I finished it this month. Did I talk about it last time? I think I did.
A little bit. You were excited to be reading it, yeah.
Yeah, I finished it. If they had done one thing at the end, it would have been a really solid book. They didn't do that thing. And it's literally the whole reason I was looking forward to reading the book is because I assumed that thing would be done because it seems logical to have done that thing. They didn't do it. And I am disappointed because of that. The rest of the book, read like a Pixie Hollow book. It was so cute. It was wonderful. But it's YA. So it's like a little older, but I wanted the piece of closure that we needed. We didn't get it. I was pissed. Then I started reading Wayward by Amelia Hart.
Yeah.
It is honestly, if you have any domestic violence in your background, huge trigger warning.
Good to know, because I think it's on my TV.
It would have thrown you immediately first 5 minutes into a panic attack. Straight up.
Good to know.
It explores these 3 lives of these 3 women living in different times that all intersect through this cottage called Wayward. It's cool. I'm like 35-40% done with it. I will probably finish it, but there's too many triggering things happening at the moment that I like couldn't sit in that space of like women's rights and feminine. I just couldn't do it right now. I couldn't do it. Instead, I did a 180 and have been listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Have you heard of it?
I haven't gotten into it yet though.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny. It's so good. I didn't realize it was like a multi-part series until I started reading it. I will probably read the whole series if I can find a place to listen to it, because for some reason on my app there's only like one, just the first book is listenable. I'll find the other ones. Basically, quick premise of this. Aliens basically killed 90% of the people on Earth in like a single moment. Unless you were outside, you died. And it happened in the middle of the night for a lot of people. So if you were underneath anything, you died. But if you were outside, you did not die. And basically, it's the backdrop for them starting the kind of like ultimate game that is televised throughout the universe, basically, of people fighting to be the one who makes it to the bottom of the dungeon that is now encased inside of Earth. It's both a fantasy and a science fiction. It's really, and I mean that, there's goblins and orcs and magic and whatever, but it's also a lit RPG. So really good lit RPG too. He enters the dungeon because he is freezing cold because he ran outside to try to get his cat out of a tree wearing a leather jacket, no pants and no shoes. And then everything was gone. while he was outside, and it's in Seattle, and he's freezing, and so he runs into the dungeon basically just to try to be warm, and now has to fight through this dungeon wearing no pants and no shoes, and with his cat, whose name is Princess Donut.
Oh my
Princess
God.
Donut is the shit, and I love her. It's really fun. It's really fun. It has its own problems. It's written by a man. It's from the perspective of a man. So, like, keep that. And his name's Matt Dimian. But keep that in your brain, you know, when you go into it, because it definitely has its own. It has its own issues, and like I will say, they do address it a little bit. Like some of the bosses are kind of caricatures of issues people had up here, and they talk about that of like being like, what the fuck. Like, why was that the hoarder? And, like, why was that the roid bro? And, like, you know, that kind of thing. And, like, why that's a caricature. It's really well thought out. But it's also, it's been the vibe because I just needed something stupid and ridiculous. And it is thoroughly that. It is thoroughly that.
Nice.
I also just really quick want to highlight, I mentioned this to Krista before too, but my daughter also exposed me this month to the play Come From Away, which won a Tony a couple years ago and stuff, but I had never really listened to it or anything. She was like, you need to see it, and it's streaming on Apple Plus, like you can see like the recording of it, Apple TV or whatever. It's so good. If you need a reminder that like humanity is good, I cannot recommend that enough. You can either listen to the cast recording, which is beautiful in and of itself, or you can watch the recording of the play on Apple TV if you have it. I really, really recommend it. It's been one of those things that's gotten me through this month of like, oh yeah, like people are good. Like, and if you read the description, you might be like, oh no, this is gonna be heavy and sad. There's little sad parts, I guess, but for the most part, it is really just an uplifting story of something that really did happen, a true story, and it's really cool. So highly recommend that as well. I'm going to count that as something I didn't read it technically, but it's media, high vibe media I consumed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
totally valid. I love that.
That was my chaos for this month of me not finishing shit. I will have finished Dungeon Crawler Carl by the time you guys listen to this, and I doubt that I will have any other opinions other than the ones I've already shared because it is that kind of book. So, yep. What about you, Jans?
Well, so I started out the month. I was coming off of reading Black Sun and Fevered Star. I actually was just looking at. I did not finish Fevered Star. I got bored
That
because
sucks.
it gets deep. And then when I actually do think I finished it. It's just not showing that I finished it. When I read the third book's synopsis, it was the same synopsis as the first two. So it's just like it was just like this person has this circumstance and someone's trying to kill them again. So it's just like, a repeat of the same tropes. And I was like, I just really don't feel like listening to that again with these characters because they're not alive enough for me to want to listen to that. So I did not continue with the series. I finished after the second book. I think there is one more. The world building is amazing. Love it. But the way it goes is just like, okay, I get it. Can we do something, please? The two people who are supposed to find each other still haven't. So it's just like, I just needed more, I guess, dopamine or something. So I moved into The Bible Says So by Dan McClellan because I wanted to read something that gave me a little bit more resourcey stuff. I'm currently working, and I'm really excited about this. I'm supporting someone who is working on a doctorate program to incorporate into seminary programs more information and education around magic,
Cool.
folk
Love
magic
that.
and astrology and all of the tools that we can use. And I am the consultant for some energy healing and especially astrology and some other theological stuff. So I'm just, working on helping to decondition the stupidity that has overtaken Christianity. I'm looking for a new word for Christianity so that we can differentiate even better and, like separate those kinds of things as much as possible. So that's one of the things I did there. And I really liked it because it was such a good reference. And there were so many good like things where it's like, yes, yes, that, yes, that. And I'm reading the Bible and doing the footnotes and stuff too. So it's just like really corresponding with some stuff I was already familiar with. So it made me feel really good and just answers a lot of the questions that you're going to need in conversation when you find yourself in these conversations. So I liked just having my quick education so I can have a really good foundation to build off of. Liked it a lot. Then it's Pride Month. So I started reading Marvelous Light, which is the last binding book one by Freya Marsk. And
It's good.
it's good, but I've gotten distracted from it so easily. I think it's because of the voice of the audiobook narrator.
That's
I
super valid.
have to listen to it on 1.5 speed because any slower and I just will not listen at all. But then also the story, because it's like Regency kind of stuff, whatever. And it's just the guy, he doesn't differentiate between the voices very well. And so I'm just like, who's talking? I lost the thread. So it's very hard for me to follow because of the narration of the voice of the actor. When I have been able to focus on it, it's been cute and I really like it. I like the way they use magic and that kind of stuff so far.
Yeah, it's cute. It's that's the best way to describe it. When I finished it, I was like, oh, I probably won't read the second one,
Hmm.
but I liked the
Yeah.
first one, and
I
it's
already have
complete
my next
enough.
book on the docket and it's not the second one.
And it's complete enough that you're like, I feel good about this. Oh, I
Yep.
also had my next book on the docket. What was I going to
Yeah.
read next? Oh,
So,
I also read the Inca mythology book, by the way.
oh yeah. We were
We
doing
both
Inca
read that
research
too.
this month. We also read Circe in my book club.
I love
We read
Cersei.
Madeline Miller's Circe in the book club. This month we're reading Ensoulment, and we're actually gonna on our Q&A call at the end of the month. We have the person who translated it from Porphyry coming onto our call and doing a Q&A with us. So I'm
I
really
love
excited
that.
about that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
But my next thing is going to be A Spell for Heart Sickness, Rune Tithe, Book One by Alistair Reeves. It looks cute, and I'm going to be really enjoying just having that in my ears as I'm flying this week.
That's cute. Yeah, I'm gonna. Hopefully, I'll find the second book of Dungeon Crawler Carl because I would really like to read that one. Because honestly, it's the vibe of like whatever right now. I also I think the next one was A Fate Inked in Blood. That was the one I think I was going to read next. It's a duology that seemed like a whole vibe. Yeah, I think that's the one that I was wanting to read next. I was like, I just got something that I was going to put there, and I think it was that one. Oh, When the Tides Held the Moon. That one.
Hmm.
That's the one I'm reading next. It's by one of my amazing mutuals. I adore her. She's so sweet, and her artwork is incredible. And I'm really, really excited for her that she published this book. So I'm reading that.
I'm going to read that one too because that independently found my TBR. So definitely will read it now to extra
Yeah,
support.
yeah, she's awesome.
That's the one with
Um,
the carnival and the merman.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, hmm
definitely. I'll
yeah.
read that after the one I'm going to read next.
Vanessa Kelly is her name, and I read the first little bit of it, just like a chunk of it, and it's
Mhm.
really fun right off the
Yeah,
bat. So I'm
it
really
seems
excited
really
to read the
nice. I
rest.
like it. I'm excited.
Yeah, but
Cool.
yeah. Okay, so this is not quite a Higa question, but I have it from my Patreon. By the
Hmm.
way, if you are in my Patreon and you get it's the $15 tier. It's You get so much stuff on that tier. I cannot even describe how much stuff you get on the tier. But the one of the things you get is these episodes early. If you just want to ask any Higa questions you have underneath this like recording of this, we will look back at it next time. If you have a Higa question for us, we'll answer it. Same goes for Krista's.
Yep. Same tier, same cost. And in fact, really quickly, Stephanie Lynn Fuoco had commented a Higa question. And the reason I'm going to jump the gun on this one is the Higa question is what are some of your favorite summer traditions or new summer traditions that you are starting? Stephanie, watch the episode before this because we spent the whole episode answering that. It was a fantastic question and we gave it a whole episode.
Well, I
So
do have more summer traditions that are just like summery though, that are not just like
cool. Yeah, let's go into it.
solsticey.
Yeah, that's true.
We will. So for the 4th of July, it's a really big deal up here.
Mm.
By the way, fuck patriotism and this country,
Yeah.
but it's a really big deal up here. As far as like there's a big fireworks show. It's like the largest in the West of Mississippi. It's on the lake and stuff. So we always try to find a way to do that because we have really, really powerful. Especially growing up, I have huge, beautiful memories associated with that holiday because everyone would come up to my neighborhood. There was a tournament. It's called the Tournament of the Golden Socks,
Mm.
and you would wear socks to play beach volleyball. And there was also a frisbee golf tournament. And then at the end, whoever won, there's a whole scoring system, would get a pair of golden socks. And that was like our huge tradition there. So we always do stuff kind of in a little bit of remembrance of that like time, and
Mhm.
that's always a super powerful summer tradition. And it's also one of my favorites. We also go to the beach. We live right by the beach, so we will have dinner on the beach multiple times throughout summer, which is my favorite summer tradition of them all. We go down, we go swimming, we have dinner, we come home at least twice a week, all summer long, which is a whole vibe. I love it so very much. Yeah, those are my big ones as far as like just summery stuff. What about you? Do you
I
have
don't
any?
I don't really have a lot of summer traditions. It used to be a lot of cookouts and parties and stuff when I was a kid. We had so like every weekend my mom would had a cookout for some reason or another and it was really cool. But, since we've been down here, it's I travel every month. So I'm like not in the same place. This year I'm going to Fixed Star Camp. I'm actually going to make an astrolabe and like all that stuff. So I will be spending the summer looking at the fixed stars, one of which will be like Sirius, who is the summer star and like all that stuff. So, I'll probably create more traditions there based on what I learned at the Fixed Star Camp. I'm really excited about it.
It's fun.
But I also, we take a lot of walks. We walk as many places as we can when it's not insanely stupid humid. Like it's already 90 degrees and like 80% humidity here
Hate
in
that.
Michigan. I know.
0 out of
And
10.
it wasn't like this last year. But a friend of mine recently moved into town and we are picking up our Pokemon Go game. So we'll be doing a lot more with that too. I just like going into town and, going to the different places for like brunches and all the local places. So you get to do more of that at this time of year.
Nice. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also just love being like, we eat dinner way later in the summer, always do,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so much lighter, and we'll usually eat outside all summer. But we're not in 90-degree weather and 80% humidity.
No.
We get maybe to 80 degrees, like maybe. And
Mm-hmm.
that's perfect for us. Thank you very much.
Yep. Happy for you.
We
Yeah.
love that. So
I'm actually not mad about going to Iceland because, I like sweaters.
growing up, my favorite summer tradition, we would sleep outside on our deck very
Yes.
regularly. That was one of my favoriteest things to do. And in our house that we bought, this one that we're currently in, we do have a deck, but it's not quite sleep outable worthy.
Hmm.
So over the next year, probably we're going to replace the deck, and I'm really excited to like get to that spot
We used to sleep
where
on the
is my
trampoline.
I have a little bunny altar and it's all like
Mhm.
messed up. What happened? Hello, little bunny. It's the bunny you gave me
From
from
Japan.
Japan. Yeah. Bunny, why you do this? It was like knocked off and everything. That's super weird. Anyway, I just saw that. I was like, what happened? Anyway, but yes, sleeping outside.
Hmm.
That's another
Yeah,
one.
we used to sleep on our trampoline. So if one person rolled over it, like ruined it for everybody. It was really
The
funny.
kids used to do that too on ours. Yeah, we don't have it a trampoline anymore, but when we
Yeah.
had one, they would sleep out there.
Our
Yeah,
trampoline got
we.
picked up and put into a tree.
Yeah, we. That's
Hurricane.
awful.
It was a hurricane in
Okay.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, we would have to, our deck growing up, we would have to, like, you would lay there and you would make sure that you were the one that was not under the pine tree so that if a pine cone dropped, it didn't hit you.
Yeah. Your pine cones are vicious.
Yeah, if a green pine cone drops, if it's a green one, it will kill you, like, for sure. But no, it was mostly just the brown ones. And we'd be like, oh, that one looks like it's going to drop. I'm going to sleep on this side. I don't want to get smacked with that. One time there was, when I was a horseback trail guide, there was this absolute jerk. He's terrible. He's in prison now, but he's really bad. Full jerk. But he got hit in the face with a falling one on the back of a horse while he was leading. And he came back and he had like little polka dots all over his face where it stabbed into him. I think about that. It's really nice. He earned it. He sucks.
You earned it.
He can't listen to this, but fuck you, Quentin. Anyway,
Next week we
season
find out that our
prison.
podcast is listened to in prison.
Honestly, he does. I hope he heard me say it then.
Yeah, that was the thing. The radio station of my college was listened to by the prisoners a lot, and so the people on who were the college DJs kept getting letters from them, and it was a big thing that we had to deal with. I used to help some of the DJs.
What a weird thing. All right.
It's story of my life, apparently. Every time I share something about my childhood, you're just like, that's not normal. But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah. Thanks.
Icky dicky. My question, which was not quite a Higa question, but it says, do you think your wards and protections would shield you from the Thanos snap?
Oh man,
I know.
who asked this?
Her name is Baroness von Ginger.
Okay, well, Von Ginger, that is a fantastic question. I I don't know if my wards would protect me. I'm more wondering if my guides would protect me.
I feel like my guides would too. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know if it would be my wards per se, but I think it would be my guides.
Listen, okay, so fun story. When I was a kid, I grew up on tribulation culture. So we were anticipating Left Behind becoming an actual thing, and that there would be a day in 2012 or 2013 or 2014 or every year it was a new day when it didn't happen. So it was like, you're going to get snatched up by God. And I remember watching Left Behind. And there was a part of me who wanted to help the world so much that I was like, leave me behind when this happens so that I can help people. And so I spent my whole childhood thinking about this. And yeah, so I literally had this plan that I was like, I know that I believe in all this stuff, but leave me behind anyway so that I can help people who might feel lost when this kind of thing happens. Later on, I was like, oh, that's not how that works. So I am like fully deconditioned from that. Don't worry, no more illusions. That was my whole thing was like, when I am left behind, what am I going to do? So I think I've
Zero
already
percent of my childhood was spent thinking about that.
yeah. But the Thanos snap is a total
Uh-huh.
inverse of the
Uh-huh.
tribulation, right? So leave me behind.
Yeah, I do. Do I think hypothetically my wards would be strong enough to hold off a blast like that? I do. I do think that they would be. My wards are pretty freaking strong.
Yeah.
And they've done some stuff for me before, very significantly. But realistically, do I think that would be the thing that rejected the Thanos stat? No. I think it would be my guide team being like, yeah, you're doing stuff, actually. You're not part of that. Does that mean it would protect everyone around me? No. And that's where I think it would get me really fucked up.
Yeah. My community I've found recently has been a little icy. So I have been working on my wards extra for that reason, particularly regarding the walls of my home. So that if somebody finds out that they do not do well on ice, I can bring them in here and they will be able to warm up.
Yeah, that's nice. It's really nice to help people when they're cold like that. Just let that one hang. Cool. Let's pull a Higa question.
Wards are designed for at the moment. So for myself, my dogs, and anybody who comes inside.
Love it. Yeah, my wards are currently a giant redwood tree. Yeah, my wards are currently a giant redwood tree. That's what they look like at the moment.
Yeah.
So trunk big enough to encase my entire house. And you enter through like fairy door level protections to get in.
Love that. Sorry, I was just thinking, you know my story about a redwood tree, right?
Yeah.
So for context, anybody, quick story. There was a sorcerer that I do not recommend associating with who found out that I have an illness that eventually will do me in and was like, I don't want you to die. I'm going to tie your life force to a redwood tree. And I was like, the tree cannot consent. No. So that's my, when I laugh at the mention of a redwood tree, that's why I actually really love redwood trees. I got to walk among them for the first time recently, just a couple weeks ago, and they are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're a huge part of my everything. Recently took my daughters to go see the play Redwood. It was a whole full circle moment. I will not say it on here because it's a longer-ish story, but it's one of those moments where I was like, oh, the universe was playing chess with me. Got it. Checkmate. Didn't see that coming.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. Also, the play Redwood, just on a quick side note, fucking love it. It's so good, in my personal opinion. I loved it so much. We wanted to go because Lee is obsessed with Idina Menzel, and so she wanted to go and kind of forced us all to go, which was ultimately the right decision. Which, longer story short, don't be like, what? She's a child. It's a long story about why this happened, so don't just be like, wow, I just flew my kid across the country for shits and gigs. But I will say it got a lot of really mixed reviews when you actually look at how the play was reviewed, and it's since closed on Broadway because of said mixed reviews and Tony stuff and things like that, which is really unfortunate. But if you're a tree person, it was written for you. And most of us listening to this podcast are tree people, but if you are a tree person, it's for you. And I think most of the people reviewing it were like city people, like not tree people. But if you're a tree person, you get it. Like you get it. You can listen to the Broadway cast recording. It's really good if you want to do that, but you can't really see it anymore. But you can listen to it. And I hope they release like a recorded version. I do think they did a recorded version, and I hope they release that, to be totally honest, because I would 1,000,000% watch that again. It was so good, in my opinion. Tree, if you're a tree people.
Yay, trees. We love trees.
We love the trees. Cool. Let's pull a Higa.
Higa. Okay, I'm just going to split the deck because I shuffled it a lot before we came on.
Good question.
I feel like we did this one before, and I'm trying to remember.
Read it if we did before.
Oh yeah, this is the question from last month. It's what do you look back on and think I would never do that again?
No, dumb
This
question.
is the same. So
move on.
Why? I mean, there are other things on here that I'm like, should we do this thing? But they're obvious, so I'm gonna do the one underneath it. Have you ever cut your own hair?
Yes.
I have a story about this one too.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have. So I was a scene kid, like fully, like in my raver scene days. Basically in middle school, I became a scene kid in order to fit in. And then it like actually fit my vibe as a human, like really, really well. And so really stuck for longer than I think other people it stuck for, to be totally honest. But I have 1,000 pounds of hair on my head at any given moment. If you've seen me in person, it looks so much bigger than this in person.
It's majestic.
It is a mane, and it's also like down to my butt on the regular. That's just, I cut less than 3 months ago. I cut 3 inches off of it, and they're already back. So it's just what it is. So when I was a kid, though, I really wanted the scene haircut look, which is so choppy, and you chop up so much of your hair, and it's very, very thin on the bottom and like super poofy at the top, and the bangs come from the back forward, and it's just. it's a whole experience, right? I wanted that so badly. I spent hours cutting my own hair to get to that, and it never fully did because there is so goddamn much of it. Like I would make so many cuts and it would look like nothing changed at all. And I would have like a guinea pig sized ball of fluff and it would just be like, it just looks like your hair still. So yeah, I've cut my own hair a lot. You couldn't tell and you wouldn't be able to. So yeah, I have cut my own hair. What about you? What's your story?
So I didn't cut my own hair, but in 2020, we were under lockdown and my hair
The year of the bad haircuts.
Yeah, my hair started growing in a way because I had like an undercut and some like situations going on. And so my hair started growing in a way that was giving me sensory nightmares. I literally would like cry because I was so uncomfortable with my head. And so when my birthday came around, literally the lockdown lifted the day after my birthday. And so I was like, my anniversary with my husband is the day before my birthday. And I was like, Dan, the only thing I want for anniversary this year is please cut my hair. Because Dan was a dog groomer. So I was like, close enough. You've used a razor on things. So I texted my hairdresser and I was like, I will be coming back to you as soon as it is safe to come back to you. But in the meantime, can you give me instructions on how you would ask my husband to do the razor part, at least for my hair and, you know, to cut it? Because he had the whole kit. So we had like dog shears and a razor and everything. And so there was some resistance to that. And I appreciate that. But eventually we both got so tired of our hair that I have videos of this too. We did a video of him cutting my hair and I did his. And I was just like, when we are 80, you know, whatever. But anyway, when we were older.
You were 69.
When I am 69, I'm going to pull this video up and I'm going to like look back on this and be like, look at us during the pandemic. Like it's a moment in our married history for me that I just find really, really funny. I did post it on social media. If you scroll way back, you'll find it of me getting my hair done. And he did a good job. He did a really good job. And it kept my sanity going until I could get my hairdresser back.
Barks is barking.
Yeah.
My sir, is there something going on? I think it's just the wind, to be totally honest. But
yeah, well,
sorry, can't mute the dog.
No,
but you get to hear his happy little voice. He never barks, so it's always like, whoa, yeah. Buddy.
As compared to Zelda and Jack, who bark all the time.
Incessant.
Yeah. On my YouTube live this morning, which is 2 weeks ago for all of you watching, Jack barked so close to the sun that I had to give him air jail. So I had to go pick him up, and he had to spend some time in my lap until he chilled out.
Nice. Well, all you have to do is look at Callum and be like, no. And he'll be like,
not our dogs.
I never even thought about barking before. I can't believe I ever barked. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
All right, let's do another one. We got time.
Okay, cool. Let's go from here. Do you prefer paper books or ebooks?
So I feel like I've hammered this in on this podcast a little bit because I buy things digitally first or rent things digitally first. Typically in audiobook form, so I have enough time to actually do them, but I will read also like ebook style digitally first, and then I will purchase the physical copy if I love it. Just on this note, I have a personal beef with this at the moment because right now it is such a trend to overconsume physical books and buy as many as possible. And don't get me wrong, if you want to collect physical books and that makes you feel good, like I'm not criticizing you. Like I think it's amazing. Build your library, babes, go for it. But then people haven't read most of them that they have. And it's more of like two different hobbies where it's like one is collecting books and one is reading books in a lot of cases. And if you do both, you do both. That's fantastic. Recently, though, I've noticed that things are leaning intentionally so much more towards that. Like instead of reading the inside, it's more like having them look pretty. For example, I've been waiting on the list. I've been on the wait list for the Fairy Loot Crate for 3 years. I finally got on it like 4 months ago. And then they sent out an email last month that they're going to stop doing any of the merch within it and just start doing pretty books only. And I don't want that. Like, I like having the pretty book in the merch space. Like, I like having bookish merch, which is part of the reason I subscribed to it in the first place, is because I want the bookish merch piece of, like, that's the fun stuff to add, to embellish the bookshelves I have with books I've actually read. And I don't just want a bunch of pretty books that I haven't read. Like, I don't like that vibe. So I love paper books. I love them. I can't say that I prefer the digital ones because I do love paper books. But when it comes to books I have actually read before so that I can have them and hold them and be like, you are magic.
Yeah. Well, see, I do the same thing. And the reason, like, if it's bookshelf worthy, it ends up on my bookshelf, hopefully in some kind of really pretty special edition that goes to the author somehow as directly as possible. But it's so I can turn the page to the part I know I like and then just, go to the bookshelf and jump back into it for a second and just be refreshed.
That being said, with nonfiction, absolutely 101 million% prefer paper because I will write all over that. Like, even like the Mayan book that I just showed, like, this is my notes at the back of this book. This is just the back notes, not even the page by page ones. But like, I will literally like demolish books that are nonfiction. Like, I don't even want to show you what Agrippina looks like, the book I've used for a lot of the research for my book.
All these things in them.
It has like 3 or 4 colors in it at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's necessary. It's so helpful. Yeah. Highlighters. I use erasable highlighters sometimes and some kind of a bookmark and an erasable pen so that if I like learn something later, I can go back in and like if I had this question, I can answer it.
Nice.
It's really great. Yeah.
That's way more nice. Or like my spell book that I've been working through, spell by spell, basically, to like redefine what it would be used as in this modern context. Because like I don't have a goat whose head I'm gonna wear at the like you know, like, but it's just scribbled on. Like, I like the scribbly bits. They make me happy.
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't know that. So for nonfiction, paper all the way. I can't read nonfiction without it being in a paper format. Honestly. Yeah. So actually, on the way to Iceland, I was debating bringing my next research book for my next book that I'm writing as well, so that I can scribble on that on the plane. But we'll see. We'll see.
I know I'm going to be purchasing books when I get to Oxford, so I have to save my spaces.
You need to. Do you want to do one more speed run? Quick Higa question? Since we have another couple minutes.
All right, you guys, give us a good one. Let's see. What is the most overrated movie?
The Batman franchise.
100%. No. Twilight.
No, because Twilight is camp as shit. It's so bad, but it's like...
They didn't know they were, and they became it. Like, they didn't think they were at the time. I was working at a movie store when it came out, and it was the one that they played all day long, and I had to just...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know.
I showed my daughters it recently. We literally this month watched Twilight, the first and second one, for the first time ever with them, just to laugh at it. And it's been so much fun, because I'll say something, and my daughter will be like, I can't put sunscreen on. This is the skin of a killer. You know, it's just great. So I agree, though. I agree with that one. What I will say is all of the fucking Batman movies, all of them, specifically the one, the Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight one, that everyone was like obsessed with, and everyone still thinks is so peak and amazing. It so overrated in my opinion. Sorry if I'm offending everybody. Why does it need to climax 3 times? There's no resolution. It's so...
Sorry, I'm a child.
No, you should be. It was intentional. You're good. Yeah, I think that is... Except for Lego Batman, that is the ones that I think are incredibly... That being said, most DC comic movies are literal trash. So...
Yeah, they're not...
Yeah.
I keep thinking they'll get to the point and then they don't.
They suck so hard.
They're just missing the vibe. They never get the vibe.
They're so bad. So bad. I can't even. They're so bad. Anything with Gal Gadot, period, overrated and trash.
Yeah.
But I think she's a trash person, so there's that too. But yeah. Trying to think of any other ones that those are the ones that come to mind first, because I've had a personal vendetta about them since I sat through a 3-hour The Dark Knight, and everyone walked out being like, that was so amazing, and I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
So I'm also real picky about fiction media, though.
Same. Okay, so there, you want to hear my hot take? And I know this is going to get me in trouble because even Dan didn't like my opinion on this. The Barbie movie.
Oh yeah, you didn't like that one.
I
love the fuck out of the Barbie movie, though.
I liked it until the ending.
Yeah.
The ending was not...
She should have become the CEO of Motel. She should have become the CEO of Motel.
You're telling me that the best thing about being a human woman was you have access to OBGYN with what we all know is subpar healthcare and research. And that's what you're going to, like, you're not going to go out and take everything you've learned and do something for the world or for younger girls or, like, make it a better... I'm sure she is, but we should get to see it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
felt
that's
like...
your hot take.
It just bugged me. I just made eye contact with Dan. He knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the Barbie movie. Your point is still valid, though. Because I also was like, she should become the CEO of Mattel.
I was like, cool. This is what's going to happen. And I'm so excited for it. Just like your Queen Clarion book, right?
Yeah.
There was this thing I was waiting for. It was what I needed at the end to feel like it was full circle. And no.
Do you want me to spoil a little bit of why I'm pissed at the Queen Clarion book?
I mean, do it, please.
They never flash forward. They never flash forward to when she finally gets to reunite with Mallory. They never flash forward to that.
But it's not like it. Correct. They could have advertised the movie for it. Like, man.
Yeah, so you never get the closure because you don't get it in the movie either. You never, you like kind of get like, oh yay, they're back together, like a little bit of thing, but you never get the full closure of that moment of those two characters coming together and like finally getting to be together. Never get it. Then
what were we there for?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I am passionate about it.
Noise in the background here too, if you hear it.
A little bit. Just sounds like water.
It is.
Haha. I'm good. Okay.
Good guess.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Please comment your emoji for this episode. What emoji do you feel like this episode is represented by?
Yeah.
Just one.
What emoji is on your heart
for this episode? I'm excited to see answers, honestly.
Maybe we'll add it to our TBR.
Yeah. Also, please share your books for sure. We would love that. And thank you. Please download the episode. We appreciate you being here. You're fantastic. There is links to fun stuff like our Patreons and the Train With Me applications and our trips in the show notes if you want to hang out with us. That's the way to do it. Also, even cheaper than that, if you want to come to Richmond, Virginia in August. Rude again. Richmond, Virginia in August to hang out with us in person at our Sacred Spaces gathering.
She wants you to come.
Yeah. Sorry, Weston just walked by the window and just like made a silly face and just kept walking like nothing happened at all, and it was really cute.
Oh, life.
But yeah, come hang out with us at Sacred Spaces Gathering this fall in Richmond, Virginia. Tickets are on, not fall. I guess August is not fall.
It's going to be August.
Yeah, so I don't know why. Anyway, come hang out with us. We still have tickets available for that as well. They're really, really reasonable. They are literally less than $100 to come chill with us and see the recording of this podcast live.
Yeah.
We're going to do a live podcast recording.
You can be there.
And it's going to be super fun. So come hang out with us. And we hope that you take all this higa and 1, 2, 3.
Go make some magic.